Seed survive. Exterminator 2 face Arnold Terminator. And up against those great sports Judge Shred 2, Behemoth.
In the pens, Behemoth about to go into the arena. Now, basically, it's two scoopers up against each other.
Yeah.
But you have got a smaller target area than they have as
Yeah,
such.
well, we've got the width of the bucket on the front end, so by keeping that to their robot, we should be able to get them over.
And you've got 0 ground clearance on that bucket, haven't you?
Yeah, basically the bucket actually rides along the grounds, so
you're in with a fighting chance?
We're in a fighting chance, yes.
Good news. The judges are here at the bar. You're quite pleased with yourselves, aren't you, after that melee? Why?
Extremely. We lifted that walking robot, which was 160 kilos. So
and you didn't know you could do that,
no.
did you?
Straight on its back.
Now, in this bout that we're about to have, I believe there's a 1/4 centimetre difference between your ground clearance and theirs with the flippers at the front. So, how are you feeling?
Great. Ours is lower than theirs is, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, but there's more areas for them to come in at you. You've got a bigger surface area of actual bot.
Yeah. You're going to have to try and spin it round on itself, stop them getting in at the side. That's the main thing.
OK.
Yeah.
Good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
Let's hope you're pleased.
Roboteers, stand by.
There's Judge Shred 2, the Leicester-based team. Alan Blakeman in the middle, his son Paul on the right. And Behemoth, the Pritchard boys. Again, it's Anthony in the middle at the controls. Kane Aston's with them. BSc in Computer Studies at Hearts University. Behemoth, a trundler. Judge Shred 2 is the quicker away. Indeed, it's just about the quicker robot. Get up to 7 miles an hour. Behemoth, the top speed of 6. Behemoth into the clutches of Dead Metal. Dead Metal drawing Behemoth back into the CPZ. Using great power to get away. There, 2 motors from a wheelchair gearbox powering Behemoth. And there's the front scoop in underneath Judge Shred 2. A little lick of flame on the back of Judge Shred 2. Being extinguished, though, in the air of the arena. Toppled! Over go Judge Shred 2. Now, can they use their self-righting mechanism here? Very slowly, they're trying to get the axe to self-right. Well, they promised they had a SREMEC, and I don't think it's an effective one. And we are about to pass sentence on the judges. Well, the court of the Robot Wars arena says you will be taken hence to a place whence and thence you will be pitted by Sir Kilowatt. And that's very quickly, Judge Shred, you can ride yourself. Oh, look at Kilowatt on the claw. It's so slow and deliberate, the punishment for the judges. Dead Metal clutches Judge Shred. There goes the saw, Bash and Kilowatt in there as well. Shunt wants a piece of the action. And all of a sudden, Judge Shred 2 looks minuscule, doesn't it? And weak and puny in the presence of the house robots. Judges, we have the last laugh. And the full stop to our sentence is 9 for you. Crash from Shunsax in the soft underbelly. They begged, stole and borrowed parts for their machine, the judges. 3 holes. Oh, the judicial system of Robot Wars sees the scales of justice weighing heavily against the judges. They're out. Behemoth goes through. Cease. Where was the major damage caused for Judge Shred 2? Was it the fire, I wonder, burning out the electrics? We'll have to find out from the pit, but certainly Behemoth flipped them over. You see, there was no power in the self-running mechanism, and then the house robots finally came in for the kill.
Well, an end to law and order for Judge Shred. The Behemoth boys are back, and they bounced through. Come on, lads. I think you've suited the wedge. In fact, I want to go with that one. Yeah, go on, give me a go with that. Yes.
Great pulling, that.
Hey. Well, you brought some sartorial elegance to proceedings, but unfortunately, that's about all you brought, really.
We want to go to a court appeal.
What happened? I mean, you were flipped over straight away, and
We haven't
your
got-
self-righting mechanism didn't seem to work, did it?
No. Oh, there is that. But we had 4 motors in it, and because we're overweight, we had to take 2 out. So we haven't got any power, any pushing power.
Shouldn't have been overweight.
Well, there is that.
You've got to go for a lighter material next time.
Yeah,
Will
that's
there be a
right.
next time?
Oh, there certainly will.
Well, we see you then, ladies and gentlemen. Judge Shred. Have that wig back. How you doing? Good to see you again.
Good to see you again.
Well, I suppose that went according to plan, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Nicely over.
Well, you've gone very far in lots of these competitions, but you've never quite made it to the end.
No, we haven't. Hopefully, 3rd time lucky.
Is this year your year?
Yeah, hopefully.
Well, we'll wait and see. Let's hear it for the Behemoth boys! Cheers, guys. Well done. Great wig.
Behemoth through to the heat final. Out go the judges. Next up, Exterminator 2 against Arnold Termenegger. And they create an upset, I wonder.
What happens? The top flipped off, and we lost our kill switch. So we're upside down. We've got no power. So it's just dead. It's just 80 kilos of scrap from then on.
Basically, Kilobot grabbed us by there, held us in position, and Shunt everybody else came in and started hacking us to pieces. And this damage is basically from when it was on its top. Shunt stuck his axe through the bottom and went into this lot, and that's mangled it all. So that's why we couldn't do anything.
Roboteers, stand by.
So to our second heat semi-final with Exterminator, Marlon Pritchard, Paul Lewis and Simon Baldwin, up against Arnold Termenegger with Ian Inglis, son William and daughter Holly, the Loudwater Combined School in High Wycombe.
2, 1.
Young William and Holly, the tactical experts. William, he says, playing also a vital part for this team. He says he makes it look good. Arnold Termenegger on the defensive against Exterminator, our number 22 seeds. By far the bigger of the 2 robots, by far the heavier of the 2 robots, and very quick Exterminator, 25 miles an hour. If you're looking for a dark horse for this series of Robot Wars, well, maybe Exterminator. Who knows, though? This will be a major surprise and shock if Arnold Termenegger can pull off a victory here. Dead Metal comes out with the claws and the pincers. Arnold gets away. Exterminator on the attack with a great axe. He can use an interchangeable flipper as well there. Don't forget it has the scoop bucket too. And all the aggression early on from Exterminator against Ian, a project manager by trade. Loves his DIY. It took him 7 years to build a wall at home, by the way. Arnold Termenegger has flipped Exterminator! Will this be the surprise? No! Those side spike 3-net mechanisms came out. A change this year for Exterminator. That's why they could survive and come back to attack. Arnold once again. Exterminator driving away. That is not good technique. Exterminator team. Marlon Pritchard at the controls, but they come back on the attack again on Arnold. The axe to me doesn't look greatly powerful. Maybe the scoop weapon is more effective to flip at the front. You just saw it lifting up there. More of a scoop wedge than a bucket. Coming back on the attack though, Arnold Termenegger. Really showing a very good plucky display here. Arnold. The axe comes down rather flimsy. There's almost like a yapping jaw on the front of Termenegger. But now you can see the flashing eyes of Kilobot. Termenegger getting away. It has a lifter, it has a self-righter, the chassis, don't forget, from a cold water storage tank. Also parts from a boat in there in Arnold. Well, they've come to grips with each other. I think Exterminator is in control of this little dance. Seems to be pushing Arnold around. Again, the axe comes down. Controls being used to, I think, steer away from trouble and take this to the judges. It will go to a judge's decision to see who beats Behemoth in the heat final. For me, it's Exterminator. We'll have to see some action again, though. Well, Marlon Pritchard and the Exterminator team, look at that, thinks it's close. Ian Inglis waits to see the decision. Exterminator first to attack, using the axe. Back came Arnold Termenegger with the flip. So Exterminator had the self right. Then look at this drive into the CPZ. This could be the decisive moment.
The judge's decision is through, based on style, control, damage and aggression. And they've gone for Exterminator! Oh, well. Are you upset about that?
Not too much.
It was very close, wasn't it?
Yeah?
I mean, I would have liked to call that. I mean, last year you had a walker.
Yeah, we brought Miss Struts along.
Yeah, Miss Struts. But you've come up with a roller this year.
That's right.
And it's a fine one. It was touch and go who won that one.
Yeah, it's a lot more fun with the rollers compared to the walkers, because they're so much quicker and much more manoeuvrable.
How much can that lift?
Oh, it's hard to tell. It safely it can lift around 100 kilos, but you can go far in excess of that. But I think it made the chassis collapse up to about 600 kilos.
Really? Back again next year?
Yes.
A walker or a roller?
We have plans for a walker called Master Struts, and we're still keen on the rollers as well.
Brilliant. We'll love to see you. Ladies and gentlemen, Arnold! Good fight. It was a very good fight. It was a good fight. It was quite close, wasn't it?
It was.
I tell you what, though, lads, you've got Behemoth in the final.
Tell us about it.
And they're a tough robot.
Yeah. We haven't worked out what we're going to do yet.
No strategy yet.
Not yet.
I reckon fingers crossed, lads. Fingers crossed.
Everything crossed.
Let's hear it for Exterminator! Cheers, guys.
Oh, Arnold, they've gone out, leaving the two seeds in the heat final. Behemoth against Exterminator 2. This is going to be a very tough, tight battle, I think.
Now, I felt very protective over your robot out there.
That's nice to hear.
Because I saw it, and first of all, I thought, well, it's not going to be up to much. And then it just carried on, got better and better, and just impressed me so much by the end. I felt actually quite maternal towards it. Now, what are you gutted?
Not quite sure.
Not sure. It's not fair, is it, really, though?
Nah.
I think you had the much better robot. They won. They were brute force and ignorance, really.
They were less subtle than we are, and we lost out because we didn't have enough control over the robot.
Well, I have to say, it's wonderful to have a robot like yours, where you really don't know what to expect. And it's just brilliant to watch. Brilliant entertainment.
I'm really pleased with it because it's been actually quite reliable. It took some big hits.
I know.
And it actually carried on working.
I know. It's fairly mashed, isn't it? That would be fair to say, wouldn't it?
The lifters got quite severely bent, and that's what stopped us from actually flipping him over a second time, because they actually hit it so hard and we couldn't actually get it low enough to get under them up there. It just kept bringing us to a halt.
Right, well, don't give up on these ones. Back next forwards with a walker, but we loved it.
But Jules, what's going on here in the pits with the Exterminator? I think we've got real problems here for the heat finalists.
We changed over the control on it for a flipper lock instead of an axe. So we've got to invert it back again. At the last minute. 2 minutes to go.
Will they get it right in time? Exterminator 2 are number 22 seeds against Behemoth and number 6 from Hemel Hempstead. This is how they got to the heat final. Behemoth taking on Arnold Terminator, but together with Arnold defeating Rambot. Then the mighty victory against Judge Shred 2. Meanwhile, Exterminator, with the Judge, were beating Millennium Bug. The Walker was in the end toppled, before Exterminator saw Arnold Terminator on the Judge's decision.
Marland, come and tell us about the problem that you've just been having.
Well, to take on Behemoth, we changed over to our flipper device. And we found we had an air leak having to reverse the cylinder, and so we've had to change the configuration back a bit at the last minute desperately to fix the air leak. But the flipper is going and we're ready to take them on.
I noticed you were very nippy in the last battle.
Yeah.
Do you think possibly a little bit too nippy? Could you come down a gear and get a bit more control?
We're going to try and get a bit more control, a bit slower in this one, a bit more tactical of a fight.
So Exterminator have made some tactical changes for fighting Behemoth. You've made it to the heat finals in the last 2 wars. Please beat them. We want to see you at the series semis.
Yeah.
We will try. So every year we try.
Yeah, we do. So hopefully this is our year again, because it was in Series 2.
And have you caught sight of their flipper?
We have, but it's only very narrow, so
exactly
the chances of getting onto us are less than they are with us.
So you're quite confident, really, aren't you?
Hopefully, yeah.
Well, I am too. On you go, lads.
Thank you.
Just one thing stands between our two robots now and the series semi-finals, and that's each other. It's the third and final round.
Roboteers, stand by. From Hereford and seeded number 22, Exterminator.
Marlon Pritchard, Paul Lewis, Simon Baldwin, the Exterminator team.
From Hemel Hempstead and number 6 seed, Behemoth.
Kane Aston, Anthony Pritchard and his brother Michael there on the right, the Behemoth team.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
Both these machines reaching a heat final for the second series running. Let's see if the Exterminator flipper is working. Behemoth immediately turns him up and over. Well, it is working, the flipper, because it's acted almost as a streamer. With, of course, the help from the side spikes as well, but the initial plunge and attack was taken by Behemoth with a pneumatic scoop. Behemoth is the bigger of the two robots, slightly the heavier and certainly the more aggressive. And I think Anthony and Michael showed great control of really steering Behemoth around the arena floor. Exterminator rocks and rolls. Marlon Pritchard at the controls, now on the attack. The Behemoth, sturdy, heavy, too strong. They try and flick Behemoth up and over, getting in there on the side of the scoop, pushing it into the CPZ. Shunt can come out on the attack, using its own scoop. Behemoth, head-to-head there with Exterminator. Slam and bam, 160 kilos met there in the two robots, with a frontal attack. There they try and use that little flicker to push Behemoth up and over, trying to tag it there on the side spike of Behemoth Exterminator. Behemoth started the strong. Exterminator has come back very well, and I would guess is now on top in this heat final. Trying to use the side spikes to add an extra flick to Behemoth. Riding the attack of Exterminator, now gets away. Will have to dodge the arena floor flipper. Dangerously near that flipper there, Behemoth. They size each other up. Back away. Exterminator nudging forward towards Behemoth. Out comes Dead Metal trying to grasp Behemoth. Very much now Exterminator on top and on the attack. Trying to get in underneath Behemoth again. A ground clearance of 25mm on Behemoth. Only 15mm on Exterminator. That's the Exterminator team. Can Behemoth come back in? I think at the moment they're struggling, the number 6 seeds. For me, it's Exterminator on top. Seeded 22. Will the Behemoth boys suffer disappointment in another heat final? The arena floor spiked them last time around. Behemoth again, looking as if they're in trouble here. Exterminator trying to flip them over one last time. It'll go to the judges. Well, I think Exterminator, Marlon, Paul and Simon have it. And the Pritchard boys and Kane Aston will be disappointed, but it's up to those judges, of course. Judging on style, control, damage and aggression. The early aggression from Behemoth, certainly. And again there, so points tallying up for Behemoth. Good style by Exterminator to self-right, and then in the closing stages, they really were aggressive. Not a great deal of damage caused. Very even heat final.
The judges have made their decision. Remember, lads, it's based on style, control, damage and aggression. Behemoth, the 6 seeds are out. It's Exterminator!
Come on!
Guys, with a 6 seed, one of my favourite robots. It looked like it was all over in the first 2 seconds. I mean, you flipped him, but his self-righter worked really well, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. It brought him back, so...
And then you had problems. What are your problems?
Well, it's basically there's a right way, a wrong way, and a Behemoth way. And basically, Behemoth way is the wrong way.
You seem to be sort of just stuck in going in a line. It's like you couldn't change and turn.
From the last round, we had to change cog inside the gearbox because it was slipping.
Yeah.
And I think it's done it again. So.
And what was your? You didn't seem to get your shovel working like you used to have it working.
It was working fine, but we didn't use it because we wasn't on them. So, you know, it's only any use if they're on front.
Good flips in, but
Yeah, I mean, you put them right over.
after the drive, really, it was all right for a little bit. It got worse and worse, and then completely went. So we had basically no drive on one side.
It was a war of attrition after that. I'll tell you what, though, you always flatter to deceive. Are you going to come back and win this competition one day?
One day. One day.
One day.
I hope so. You're great competitors. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Behemoth!
Oh,
Were you nervous?
I was a bit nerve-wracking waiting for that one.
Yeah. I mean, that's self-writer. Phew, works, doesn't it?
When we had it last year, we didn't get a chance to use it, so it's proved its worth this year.
I tell you what, I mean, they were two similarly shaped robots. I mean, and they are quite strong. Their shovel's really strong. Were you nervous coming into the bout?
Yeah, we weren't sure what was going to happen, because we haven't used the flip mechanism on ours before.
Yeah.
So we weren't sure if that was going to be strong enough to flip them. So it was all cross fingers, cross toes, and hope for the best.
You're through to the series semi-finals. You've knocked out the 6th seed, one of the best robots. Do you think you can go all the way?
Knows. Can give it a try, innit?
I'm sure you will.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Exterminator! Well, it's the show that Alice Cooper ignores. He can't do heavy metal like Robot Wars. Bye-bye.
Madonna, Steps and U2 top of the pops on BBC One in just a moment.